if it was illegal to say stupid things into a microphone.
Why must you be so stupid?
These guys would be doing life without parole.
Hey, everybody, we're back from prison.
Why do we keep encouraging this kind of behavior? It's the Breaking the Ice podcast with Josh Dolan.
You know, we could, go to jail for this.
Along with Mike Shue and Isaiah Moskahana Bonsa Monablitz Boskowitz, whatever the hell his name is.
I definitely got almost thrown out years ago. We did a Bruins trip, and no wonder they hate America. We just roll up there, shit on everything, and then roll home.
They do that here, too.
Yeah, true.
They're just more polite about it. We just don't know they're doing it.
Canadians are polite?
A little bit.
Oh, my God. Hey, I was thinking, legitimate thinking, our friends over at Boston Exterior Remodeling, I may actually have some work for them, my own. Do they do windows?
They do everything.
Shingles. Well, one thing I'm noticing, which is good for the economy, is Lucia and I are looking at a couple of projects, and a lot of the GCs, general contractors, are booked fucking solid, which is good.
Yeah, now that they're allowed to work again.
Because everyone's been in their house for 14 weeks staring at their stairs and their windows going, we got to get this
believe
shit
me.
fixed.
I just had me and a friend just fixed my back steps. It took forever because we are not carpenters.
Oh God, I would fuck that up,
so
dude. God bless you for trying. How does it?
Is there a lot of YouTube video watching? And
oh my God, so many hours of people doing it. Certainly saying you need this, or you don't need that, and it's and I had a carpenter friend come over when we thought we had the stringers lined up. He's like, "You're gonna kill yourself."
Oh
and
shit!
I was like, "Oh great, we had to take it all back down." It was just horrible.
It's good to have a carpenter friend.
Well, I'm hoping
so
I'm hoping that these the Boston Exterior Remodeling partners of ours, sponsor of the Breaking the Ice podcast,
right? And Wolfpack coffee. I need coffee. I'll be right back.
You go get that.
Don't if you're not qualified,
no way.
It's always good to do it yourself. But if you're not qualified and you're risking potential danger of hurting yourself or others. And
we're talking about installing windows, and we're talking about building a deck that humans are going to sit on. On the second floor.
Grandma finally gets to come over after all the social distancing, and she walks up the steps, and that middle stringer breaks off, and she goes down, and next thing you know, Grandma's in the hospital, and you're a dick to the rest of the family. This
is why
Boston
I know
Exterior Remodeling will help you. Yeah,
I know my swim lane. So
right,
we got the Wolfpack coffee people. I was just telling Josh, Lucia's been giving them some love on social media. She likes to get up, have a little Wolfpack, and do a little posting.
They make damn good coffee. I'm having a cup right here.
Oh, yeah. This is so early for me to be.
Are you just waking up? Oh.
No, I woke up about an hour ago, but I take about 2 hours to get going.
That's all right. I spent a bunch of time this morning on breakingtheicepodcast.com, thanks to our friends at Invoke Media Group for putting that website together. That actually looks like we know what we're doing.
I know, it's scary. Please don't be fooled.
This has nothing to Mike, Isaiah, Josh did none of that. That was all Nicole at Invoke.
I put up a couple of blogs, and that's just typing, and that has spell check. So, it's not like we really did anything with that.
I just got my login stuff so I can start blogging. And
good. That should be fun.
Good.
Yeah, I got a D in English in high school, so we'll see.
So we're going to see that all on Breaking the Ice podcast.
Yeah, and a few radio stations let me write on their website too. I don't know why.
That's crazy. Hey, I bought a Breaking the Ice sweatshirt.
Oh,
we bought
came
t-shirts
this morning.
What the
fuck? I haven't put it on yet. That decal's going to stay on after I wash it, right?
Well,
it better.
Well,
I don't want to have to do all the refunds.
We have bugs. We have bugs to work out. I ordered 2 of the.
So where I just want to say, wear your merch before you give it that first watch, and give us just a little bit of that exposure, just in case it comes off in the wash.
Yeah, I ordered social media too.
I ordered two of the Cheetah surfboard T-shirts 3 weeks ago.
Me
Still
too.
Don't have it.
I think we ordered them the same day.
Well,
I want to wear it.
Each T-shirt is handcrafted by 8-year-old children in Southeast Asia in a sweatshop.
Thank you.
Their little hands can only work so fast.
How did their little hands get you a big, thick sweatshirt?
Well, it took a while. You know, and I know somebody. I know Josh, the guy who designs them. I don't know if you know him.
He doesn't even have his T-shirts.
He's the guy that runs the sweatshop. No,
I don't answer
they're
my
not
own
made in
call.
sweatshops. They're legit made. And it just takes a while because this is a custom company. That's what they do, right? They do custom orders. So it's going to take a little bit longer.
Can you imagine if
fall.
Josh ran a sweatshop? What?
Oh,
no.
It wouldn't be a sweatshop. He'd be like, I'm really sorry, but you can't take a bathroom break right now, or I'm going to have to shoot you in the knee.
Make more T-shirts now.
But that's the rules.
Josh sent me a cool link this morning of Bill Burr.
Was that this morning?
Yeah, like 1:30.
Oh, it's already
Which
been
is
a long
still,
day.
it was still your
Technically
last
this
night.
morning.
Yes.
Oh.
It's a great, we should post this on our site. It's Joe Rogan talking to Bill Burr, and it's all about people starting podcasts or any venture and how to stay the fuck away from management. Away from people that have just for decades fucked people over. We know it in the music industry. Go back to the story. I remember clear as day when Lejean from Seven Dust, I did an interview with them in like the early 90s or maybe mid 90s. And they had just signed like a lifetime deal with some record company.
Oh, with V2. That was a horrible deal that they took years to get out of. Yeah.
They had to put out like 8 albums and it was just,
and V2 just did not help their cause.
Yeah. And they held on.
And those are good albums too. They busted their ass making those albums, you know?
And they didn't make shit. And that was the problem. And they probably prevented them from like going truly global or being bigger. But should we put that up on the site, Josh? That's a great.
I think so. Yeah. It's like the whole business part of podcasting too. And like how, like it's a rare time in entertainment where we're in charge of what we're doing.
Right.
And the executives at like Fox and like all these other giant companies want to get their grimy little hands on it. Mm-hmm. And they're going to promise people like, oh, we can do this for you. We'll get the ball rolling, and then they own everything and you get no money.
Well, there's a reason why companies like iHeart say they're so big because their distribution may be big, but they'll fucking take a shitload of your soul on the way down.
Right. And thanks to the folks at Anchor.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And they do a lot of work for us at Anchor.
Free to download.
You'll get your podcast out on several different platforms and they will sound like pure sex.
Right.
Thank you, Anchor.
How do they even make money? Are we losing money?
You're good.
Look into that.
I've been sending him sperm samples every week. You guys aren't doing that?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Maybe that's not Anchor.
That's anger.
Yeah. Oh, is that anger?
I'll give him a
sample.
I really enjoyed it. It was pure Bill Burr and Joe Rogan talking back and forth. And Josh, you've told me this many times. Rogan just says, dude, I just started talking to my fucking friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how it's.
You don't need a company behind you. All you need is a Wi-Fi connection, and that's all he did.
Right.
Right. Turn it on.
Don't discount the fact that it is Joe Rogan, who's an extremely talented person. Yes. So, like in any entertainment business, it's the 1% that really makes it through all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And so there's that and his content and his connections and things like that. But you're absolutely right when they say, you bring in some kind of management or anything like that. Immediately,
don't do it.
I believe the term is homogenization process begins. And we've all been through that.
God.
We've all been in a business where, we have ideas and things that may have worked, and then things get, people get a hold of some things and they alter them for one reason or another, maybe legal reasons, maybe advertisers or something like that. But with podcasting, you're independent, and try to stay as independent as possible, because I love it. For 30 years, I couldn't say fuck. And now I can't. I can't tell you how great that is. 30 years of that built up. That's why my
goosebumps when you say it. I can
angry, because I haven't been able to say fuck for 30 years. So.
Oh, but all the years of radio, think about it, Mike, when it went from, depending on the program director,
right?
Talk this long, don't talk that long. Talk to this audience, talk to that audience. Play this song, play that song. It's like, okay, that may have worked in 1981 when there were just 5 radio stations, but it's like, I thought of you, Josh, when I was listening to again, we're talking about Joe Rogan's podcast. You had Bill Burr on talking about how to just stay the course. You control this. This is your show. You started breaking the ice. The sponsors go to you. They go through. It's just, when I've talked to a few people, it's like, it's amazing there's no rules. Of course there's structure, but We don't have to ask anybody. Well, that's not going to fly. That's not going to work because the client doesn't like it.
Now, when someone says that, we just say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, fuck you. You don't want to be part of it. That's totally cool. That's
actually, that's what we say to Josh, right? Because he's the one running the show. So it's fuck you, Josh. Shut the fuck up. Oh, wait a minute. You haven't said anything yet. I'm just preempting. Preempting. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're just used to it. But like on Joe Rogan's podcast, he knows like just about enough of every subject to talk about it.
That's great.
You know, just not enough about anything.
We are not the ultra crepidarian that Joe Rogan is. We cannot master something after reading it up on it for a very short time. I've been trying all morning, but I kept I can't. So
I can't read. I know how, but
I can't read. Your blogs are going to be amazing.
You're dyslexic on top of everything else, aren't you, Josh?
I think
so. Do you suffer from dyslexia?
Yeah, I was never diagnosed, but I've read a few things out loud, like in the store. Like I'll read a sign, and Laura will be like, "What? That's not what."
She'll be like, "What does that have to do with Hitler?"
Oh. I posted a thing on Facebook about cats, and Josh's mom posted one of their cats, and he's got a little black mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Cute cat. And Sandy goes, Josh wanted to name it Hitler. And I told him to scram. I'm like, he really does have a Hitler obsession. Fuck.
I don't know if I can name it that, but it was just an observation.
At least Adolf, I guess. I don't know. Like, I just want to tell people, if you go to the Breaking the Ice Facebook page, don't fuck with Josh's mom, because she'll take you down.
Sandy is the fucking queen.
She's an angry woman, and she will decimate you.
Yeah. I think if we get, we're missing a box here because Gerry Callahan's supposed to join us. Your mom's going to like Gerry Callahan.
Why is that?
They both live hard on the right-hand side.
I mean,
I want to talk more sports.
We got to get some people from the left side on.
We have, though. We have Phil Labonte from all the.
He's not left-leaning. He's a libertarian.
He's
a very conservative guy. He's one of the biggest Howie Carr fans I've ever met in my life.
Phil?
Yes, Phil Labonte is a very conservative guy.
Wait. When we had him and Chris on, they were.
Well, because he thought Chris was an idiot, if I may speak for Phil.
Phil's more anti-bullshit.
Phil's like more libertarian than anything else.
Well, then
if you guys want some if we want a left-leaning point of view, then we can get some of that on. I can find some people for you.
Mix it up. Well, we had Spaceman. You can't get much more left than that.
That's he is an agrarian communist. Really,
he's so left. He's inside out.
Right. I mean, he is like very left. Southpaw.
He's so left. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Right. Exactly. Right. It's like concepts that haven't even been explored yet.
Like Duncan Trussell.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So Gerry Callahan is coming on, and so are we talking politics with him? I just want to talk about how much baseball is sucking at getting.
I want to go right into sports first thing. I mean, he had Sports Illustrated and plenty of. I mean, his sports knowledge is very good. Before we go off the rails about,
he was on WEI for 20-something years,
20+ years. He wrote for Sports Illustrated,
wrote for the Herald.
Yep.
The guy's got a big brain. He's got a big brain. I want
to ask him about the Aaron Hernandez documentary and how they kind of twisted it to make it seem like he was the reason Aaron Hernandez killed himself. Well, not
start with that.
No,
start with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me just text him because he's doing his show right now. Hold on.
Oh wait, he's already doing a show.
No, he has a podcast.
No, but we booked him while he was doing his show.
No.
Who did that? Who did that?
Listen,
hey,
you had a job.
Doesn't it make sense? Doesn't it make sense that when are you available?
After.
11. Oh, okay. I'll book you at 10:30.
Fuck you! I will cut you.
You're already at the mic.
I will fucking cut you. Hold on.
Can you imagine if me or Shu did that?
I'd like to take this time to plug the other podcast I'm on. Long May You Young. If you are a Neil Young fan, we discuss Neil Young's albums in chronological order because we have a Neil problem, I like to say, with the Condon brothers, Luke and Russ from the band Town Meeting, who have a new album coming out. Look at this.
Oh, it's they gave you one of the vinyls?
Yeah. They didn't give you a vinyl?
No, they gave me a SoundCloud link.
I'm sorry. And you grew up with them. Wow.
I did grow up with them.
Well, if you listen to Long May You Young, not only will you hear three guys ranting about Neil Young, but you'll also hear the now famous Josh Dolan soundboard that Luke Condon has almost perfected at this point. Our next episode drops Wednesday, and he's really got some great ones going there. So, Josh, feel free to do the Luke Condon soundboard.
Yeah,
I got a little soundboard battle.
Oh, I will. Yeah, but I've been listening to those episodes. I don't know that much about Neil Young, but
yeah, we figured that out when we interviewed Town Meeting. I believe you asked if he was a former president.
What the fuck?
Which would have been
Really?
amazing, huh? Having a Canadian freak like that as president of the United States.
Oh, he's Canadian.
Oh, he sure is, man. Oh, actually, he just got his citizenship not too long ago for the U.S., but he's from Canada, Ontario.
I would vote for Neil Young for president.
I would totally vote for Neil Young. Absolutely.
Right.
Unless it's, his platform had anything to do with the Landing on Water album, which was a big fat turd. But other than that, I love Neil.
My favorite Neil Young song is probably I Whip My Hair Back and Forth, the cover that he did of Willow Smith.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you high right now?
Have you seen that? It was actually
Jimmy
Fallon doing Neil Young,
smoked
but it was
weed.
amazing.
Oh, really? Oh, damn. Oh, that's right. It was Jimmy. That's right. Jimmy Fallon does an amazing Neil Young.
He did a few of them, and then he did
one. He did one with Neil. That's right. I totally forgot about that. Yes, that's awesome, Josh. I totally forgot about that. I got to look now. I got to watch that as soon as we're done today.
Gerry Callahan just said he's working on it. So we're dealing with kind of like, remember when we had Lenny Clark on? He's 90 and he can't figure out the button.
No, Gerry, no offense, Lenny, but Jerry's pretty smart, man.
Yeah.
He can
the text said I'm working on it. So let's see if he can get on the Zoom. I'll give him 10
was
points.
Just doing his podcast live on Twitter. I saw it. So he knows what he's doing.
Oh, now that's his producer, Dave. Trust me.
Oh, okay. Now,
we'll ask him about
the I'm working on it in podcast Zoom language is the I'm 5 minutes down the road, but you're really still at home.
See, that's what's great. There are no rules, and I'll turn it on and hit record when I'm fucking ready.
Right.
You know what's great? If we say something that's truly offensive and someone brings it to our attention, we can just edit it later and repost it and say it never happened.
With the racist talk.
Oh, should I have we are having Gerry Callahan on.
Always.
So we are having Gerry Callahan on. Should I have the racist cock ready?
Oh, yeah. He said something about black people once, and it sticks with him.
Did he?
Hey, Josh, isolate this. I can't find my cock.
Okay.
Oh, here it is.
I'll isolate that and send it to Luke.
That's the promo right there. That's the promo. This week I'm breaking the ice. I can't find my cock.
I found it.
Oh,
now you say it, Josh.
I can't find my cock.
1, 2, 3.
That was too sexy.
Oh, you were doing that in like big studio.
Thank you for calling it sexy, though.
Oh, finish.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Oh God.
Oh, don't
my
say
angry sperm sample for this week for Anchor.
I thought it was Anchor. No, it's Angry the Sperm Collecting Smurf.
It's Anger. Anger Bank.
Anger.
Fucking pound your cock until it blows up.
She was our best subscriber every week on time. There's that vial.
It had a little red. It had a little red tint in it too. He must be
the
hitting
anger.
It too hard.
That's the anger.
You have red cum?
Yeah.
Red. He knows he
It looks
doesn't
like
have to pay
it looks like
interest, right?
cake icing. Yeah, it's really just.
Oh, that's fucking gross.
Well,
write his name.
Hey, if Gerry were on earlier, we wouldn't be talking about my semen looking like cake icing.
Why don't we just ask him? We will.
Gerry, what is your
Gerry,
semen
what color is your cum?
Yeah, that should be the first question, not Josh's question. That should be the first question. Then we'll see how long he lasts. We'll see how long it takes him to find the leave meeting button.
It's a big red one.
It'll be one of these like, oh my God, these guys are freaking stupid.
Well, if it takes as long as them to find the on button, then we got some time.
Oh, hey, thanks for joining us, Gerry. Show's almost over.
Right. We're up against the clock. There is no clock.
There's no clock. There is no clock. Isn't that the best thing in the world, Mike? Mike has produced more morning radio.
Just a cock.
Yeah, there's no clock, and now it's a cock.
I know, right? That's what's great. It's like we're up against spots. No, we're not.
We're up against nothing.
No,
wait, another text. Another text from G. Callahan.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It won't let me install.
One more excuse.
Software.
We're gonna get John Dennis on. So.
Oh my God. Do it on your phone.
Tell Gerry if he doesn't come on, Mutt's coming on with us.
Hold on, let's see. Shu just said.
Don't say it.
If you don't figure it out. This will make him just say, fuck you. We call Mutt.
We call Mutt.
Can you hear us, Gerry?
Yo, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, Gerry?
Have you done any driving for Amazon since being let go from EEI?
No, there's only 3 places in the world that are hiring: Amazon, Target, and Home Depot. So I got to make a choice. I'm not a big hardware guy. I think I'm going to go for Target and hopefully work, in sporting goods or something. But there's not a lot of choices out there.
I just saw, we all remember this place from working at Entercom. I just got an email that the Stockyard is starting to hire. Let's do it.
Oh, really? So Mark Hanna can go back to having his 3-hour lunches on David Field's tab.
I was figuring I could just be a bartender over there. Come on, it's the Stockyard.
I have a friend who's a paver, owns a paving company, and he told me yesterday that he pays his operators, the machinery, $77 an hour.
What?
So I said, $77 an hour. All state jobs, all union. They make $200,000.
Those union jobs, those are the prime jobs you want. Yeah.
They start at $58 an hour. So I'm in the wrong business.
So is everybody on this Zoom call. Clearly, this is what we're doing.
Yep. I should have went to Minuteman or Worcester Voc Tech or something and just got the real good paying jobs there, man.
My son was offered a job at Amazon because they're hiring like crazy, but they told him you would have to be in the freezer for I think like 6 hours a day. Oh, and it's 20-something degrees. They said you got to be prepared, and he's wasn't a big fan of that, so he ended up going to Target instead. It was same as everyone else. These places hiring you got to pick, but they paid pay was better, but the idea of being in the freezer for an entire shift was a little frightening.
And if you don't know Gerry Callahan, he's been doing this shit for a long time. Where did you start? You started writing for a paper way back in the day, and then how did that become radio?
I started out of college at the Lowell Sun, right at the bottom rung. I was like putting the media guides in alphabetical order and answering calls from Little League coaches trying to get their kid's name in the paper. Yeah. And went from there to the Boston Herald. And then when I was at the Herald, I started doing radio once a week or whatever, twice a week. There was that wave of sports writers who started appearing on radio. That I was there with, Shaughnessy and Ryan and Steve Buckley and those kind of guys. And then that went from 1 or 2 days a week to getting a chance to do it every day with John Dennis, 10 to noon, 22 years ago. And then after 2 years of 10 to noon, they moved us 6 to 10. Where I was for 20 years.
Right.
No shit. And I went to Sports Illustrated for 5 years, but I kept, actually did a full-time radio gig. We had this little machine that would hook up in the hotel room and I'd do the show. It's a precursor to these things, the Zoom calls. I would hook it up and do the show from my hotel room when Sports Illustrated would send me to far off places. But I did that for a couple of years and then just became full-time morning guy for 20 years.
But you kept writing the whole time, right, Gerry? You were still writing for the Herald and other places. I mean, I can't even understand how someone who was involved in a morning show and then having to write a column every day. I just don't have a big enough brain or brain space.
Can I tell you something? Like, it sucked. It was like, you know what it was like. When you're doing a morning show, you're always tired. You're always tired.
Yeah.
And I would literally fall asleep on the keyboard, and I'd be on. I'd have like 6 cups of coffee just to get through a column, and then I'd literally have to nap for an hour so I could get enough energy to write. It wasn't. The morning show was not conducive to writing and having any brain power left when the shift is over. As you know, I was generally, struggling to get through it, and I went from 2 or 3 columns a week down to 1, and then. At one point, I mean, the newspapers, it's funny, all my former employers are like either gone or on their last legs. The Herald is barely there, and Sports Illustrated has laid off everybody, and they're like, I don't know how much longer they're going to last. Hopefully another year, because I have a subscription for another year. But they're not going to be around. They're not going to be around much longer either. And as we know, WEEI is like in the toilet as well. They just had their worst rating book in 30 years. So
everything's changed in all these industries. Everything is. I mean, I look back at the 30 years of doing radio, and it's everything is changing. And if people don't figure out how to change with it, they're fucked. I don't care if it's newspaper, radio, television, the way the goddamn news is structured. You know better than anybody. The way the news is structured is just to scare the shit out of everybody, so you don't even get a straight fucking message from anybody.
So just clickbait.
Total clickbait.
We just did my podcast with Turtle Boy. We did the whole thing on this whole new culture where everybody is scared. Everyone's playing scared. They're coming after the king of all media now. They're coming after Howie Hamptons. And I think they're going to get him, because nobody has a history of saying and doing offensive things like Howard Stern. Nobody. Right. I mean, you guys know that. And the latest video that's making the rounds is the worst one, where he's in blackface with big lips, and Sherman Hemsley plays Robin Quivers in a skit. And he just says the N-word over and over, and he says the most vile things. And it's gone viral. And it's spliced together with a video of him telling the chicks on The View that he's never said the N-word. And then they go, boom. And there's not just audio, there is video. And I know he's on satellite. I know he's pretty powerful. And I know he has some, powerful friends these days. But it's going to be tough to live this one down. It's not like he just, said one wrong word. He did whole skits and whole songs and whole riffs on using the N-word and other slurs. But
he did it with a black co-host he wasn't doing it. I mean, they're actually going after him.
Yes, they are. You'll see it. This video, I think it just came out this weekend, this video this guy put together. And where literally he says, I never said the N-word. And then boom, you go right to video of saying,
Jesus.
How long did I go after Mel Brooks for Blazing Saddles?
Right.
But Blazing Saddles was written by Richard Pryor.
Right.
Okay. Not a lot of people know that. He was one of the writers for Blazing Saddles.
That's the problem with this shit. It's like you're just looking to pick apart every single person. Are these people bored? What's the story?
No, you know what it is? They're winning. They're smelling blood. They're getting those scalps on the wall, and they're just going to go after the next guy until they get, everybody who's not on their, on the team, same wavelength, same page as they are. I said that we talked about Blazing Saddles and The Jerk. You remember The Jerk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I thought it was great when it came out, and and my son loves silly slapstick humor. So I said, you should watch The Jerk. And he found it on pay-per-view somewhere. And he's watching it. And I'm in the other room and I hear it and I go, oh man, I forgot about that. Because it's like Blazing Saddles. You get these dumb, black jokes. He grew up a poor black child.
Yeah.
And I said, I thought it was just dumb content. And it was at the time just a silly comedy. But now it'll go away with Gone with the Wind once they get around to it.
Well, I've Gone with the Wind, Jerry. I've seen that movie quite a bit. I don't know how many times you've seen it, but they use language. They use language in there that's pretty offensive, and they don't use the N-word, but there are other words used. And it's that was I used to live in Richmond, Virginia. I lived there for 8 years, and before I moved down to the South, my education about the country below the Mason-Dixon line was Gone with the Wind and the Dukes of Hazzard. That's what I thought the South was like, and so, but, once I was living down there watching Gone with the Wind, I realized, wow, this is glorifying, the slaves are super happy to be where they are, and they're glorifying that whole thing and the lost cause and everything like that. And it's just, I don't know. I kind of agree with that one, but I guess, I don't know. You can put it in the same thing as Howard Stern. Right? Because I was laughing at Howard Stern in the 90s, just like everybody else,
mm-hmm.
And then.
Absolutely. But, you're not afforded the luxury of putting it into context. That's not allowed. It's just going to be judged by today's standards, which are pretty strict. I don't know if you guys followed the David Andelman story over the weekend, but he owns a drive-in theater. He does the Phantom Gourmet TV show. and he's getting canceled. In fact, I believe they've already canceled the show. They've taken it temporarily off the air because of offensive Facebook posts. And we went over them today, and I went through them all. I'm waiting for the offensive, the racist one, because they said they were racist, and they're not. They're just, he literally makes fun of looters and makes fun of kneelers like Kaepernick and looters, and he kind of glibly and sarcastically, but there's nothing that crosses the line. And this I don't know if it's an organization, but this group got together. They said they're going to bombard Channel 4 WBZ where the show was, and by the end of the day, it was off the air. So you don't really have to be offensive. You just have to be on the other side, man. You got to be on the other side of that line. And if they come after you, they will not. They'll organize. You get a whole group, and they'll bombard the place with, which is what happened to me. Bombard the place with emails until they just give up. Say, you know what, we'll throw him to the wolves, and that's what they did.
Well, so Andelman makes fun of looters who are committing acts of violence towards property. Yes. I guess you would say. And then let me get this straight. Somebody threatens violence against the TV station that carries him. And
coincidence?
And
I saw the emails.
Dude, it's like the pro-life people that fucking bomb, abortion.
Right. How pro-life can you be when you're killing people?
Right. You're for life, but yet you're killing dogs. I'm just using that as an example. It's like, Gerry, I think people have just completely let go of the steering wheel these days. Completely on both sides.
Well, I don't think it's on both sides. I think it's on one side, to be honest with you. You don't hear. There aren't a lot of conservatives trying to get people canceled, trying to get people taken off the air. As I've always said, if a conservative doesn't like a radio show, he changes the station. If a liberal doesn't like a radio show, he tries to get it taken off the air. And that's
Gerry, I got to stop you there because I'm the liberal who does the conservative thing and just doesn't listen to the radio station. Because maybe that's because as everybody here, we're in the business, and that's the best way to hurt a media source is to ignore them.
Take their ratings away.
No question.
Right.
And that's what I do. I mean, I joke about canceling HBO because of Bill Maher, which is not why I did it. But I mean, I've never said take him off the air. I mean, it's like that flies in the face of everything we say and believe in. Like we don't want to hear we don't agree with your opinion, so take him off the air or just
tune it out. I would just tune it out.
That's scary. I think young people want to go into journalism. They're not going into journalism anymore. They're going into advocacy. There's pick one side or the other, and you try to advance that cause. That's what the big newspapers, the Globe, the New York Times, that's what they do now. They don't report the news. They try to advance an agenda. It's almost transparent. It's almost to the point where they admit it. And the big ones, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Globe, although they're not very big, they're owned by billionaires who want to advance their own, political views, and they use that paper.
Well, Gerry,
they use the paper to do that.
Well, Gerry, can't you say that for the conservative side also, that there's billionaires that own those news sources?
Yeah, well, Rupert Murdoch is one. You're right. Absolutely. They own the New York Post, and he's same thing. He doesn't care if he makes money. He's just like Bezos in Washington. They don't care if they make money. They want to have a voice, and they do. So it's not really journalism in most cases anymore. It's just, advocacy of one side or the other.
Well, Gerry, as someone who keeps up with the news, and I know you're an avid reader, what are the news sources that you trust? Because it just seems like we can't trust any news source anymore. Like I'm looking, the last ones I would look at to be fully trusted to me would maybe be AP, Reuters, maybe something that they seem a little more.
Good question. I mean,
objective.
I think you just, Mike, you go into it knowing. That's what I read everything. I'm online reading everything. The New York Post, and I don't read the Globe because it's behind a paywall and I'm not paying for it. It's 99 cents for 6 months, and that's way overpriced for me.
I hate that pop-up. That pop-up drives me nuts. But I'm trying to read your shit.
I think you just read everything, and you go in there with your eyes open and understand that there's an agenda to most of it. It's a good question though. Like the wire services, I guess they're more reliable than the big papers, but they at times you'll find them again advancing an agenda. But I don't know. You just read it all and decide for yourself, I guess.
Well, what can you name some of the sources that you trust?
I mean, I know where they're coming from. I love Tucker Carlson, and I'm fascinated by this latest battle because they're coming after him. They got a few corporations to already boycott, to pull out, and they don't really say why. They just say, he's offensive. And I think he skewers both sides. He's killing, big tech and some big corporations, and he'll go after big Wall Street firms. He's conservative, no question, but he is an iconoclast. He will try to go after power, and he does it in a real smart way, and it's making some people nervous. I saw the other day Papa John's, T-Mobile, and Disney World pulled their ads.
Really?
And that bothers me. I don't, want anyone pulling it. That bothers me. Disney's a competitor. They own ABC. They own ESPN. So that's kind of.
And that's the kind of stuff you got to look at.
Right. Who owns what?
See,
Follow
I didn't know
the money
that. So
trail.
Disney owns these other networks, and they're pulling advertising from a rival network. See, that it's America doesn't have a lot of time, or maybe they do these days now that they're sitting at home,
Right.
not doing their home projects or whatever. But it's nobody digs deep enough. Now back in the day, let's say not too way back in the day. Let's go back to the 80s. All right. Were you checking on sources for news stories when you were reading the news, like back in the 80s?
No, it's a good question. I mean, I used to think the Globe was a real newspaper. I learned exactly what it's all about. I mean, they are advocates. They're activists. When we were taken off the air, the Globe was literally calling our advertisers and telling them the things we said that they thought were offensive. This was an editor at the Globe. She admitted it. She called a bunch of advertisers to complain about us, not for a story, just because she didn't like us and because we were their competitor, they thought. And it was effective. I mean, they got some people's attention. I mean, that they have no ethics or any standards, but it's true. I don't remember ever thinking that cynically about the news when I read it in whatever, the 80s or even the 90s. It feels like it's one of those things that's developed from the social media age where you can get news anywhere. You got to stand out, to make, to succeed, you got to offer more than, the who, what, why, and where kind of thing. You've got to have a voice, and you got to have an appeal to certain demographic, or they're just going to tune you out.
It goes back to trust. I mean, the whole thing is trust. If you think about what Mike just asked in the 80s, any of us working in radio, we would trust the Associated Press. We would trust the newspaper we would pick up. We would trust the news we would watch, and then have to, form our own opinions with whatever shows we were doing. Where is the trust these days? You just hit it right on the head, Gerry. There are so many avenues of where to get information. And we all saw that Cambridge Analytica story. I mean, this shit's so far from the truth, it's not even funny. And if you're not educated and you don't read, and you're if you're a teenager getting out of high school, going in, who the fuck do you trust?
I was talking about this with someone the other day, that the biggest change is how easy it is to mobilize, to get a mob going here, and to make change. Like, you can, in the old days, you had to write a letter. You had to write a letter to get, or make a phone call.
Right.
Now,
so you had to get a stamp and an envelope and find a mailbox.
Now, and that's what happened to us again, is the guy who came after us, the activist, would get an email, and all he would do all day was get the email addresses and the names of everybody at the companies who were advertising. And he would bombard the advertisers every day with emails and come up with different things that he thought we said that were offensive. And he'd say, this is, one day I said chicks. It says, like, I called women, how are the chicks? Just a stupid juvenile expression, called them chicks. He turned that into an email saying this was sexist, misogynist, and hit it like to 40 advertisers that day. I mean, stuff like that wouldn't have happened in the old days, because you can't, like, write a letter.
Actually, Gerry, that happened to me when I was in college. we had a professor who called me out for saying chicks. It's so funny that you say that would never happen in the old days. But I was this was 80s in college, and really? I'd have a meeting with her and the head of the department, and she's like,
dare you?
We just would like you to stop using the word chicks. And I'm like, well, I'm just talking like 99.9% of the people are talking on campus, which is the community I serve. And I haven't heard
it's not
one
the
complaint.
1950s, so quit it.
Okay.
Well, you know what?
Wow.
You know what, Mike? That's a good point. That the whole world has become like a college now, where you have the PC police on guard for anything that might offend anyone.
Anything. Remember when we used to be afraid of the only thing was the FCC? Like everything was no, the FCC. Do they even fucking exist? Because a whole nother level of FCCs have taken over.
It's true. Well, they don't regulate cable. They obviously don't regulate the internet. So they don't affect everything. It used to be they affected everything because they affected everything. Radio and TV. But
I played. Remember the song, Mike, by Extreme, "Get the Funk Out"?
Oh yeah.
That song came out in I don't know, the mid 90s. And I remember the radio station I was working at, we played it, and the shitstorm that came out. Oh, you played "Get the Fuck Out." No, it's "Get the Funk Out." And it was a whole thing for like a week. I'm like, a fucking song? Come on.
Well, there were a couple of things that blew my mind in the last couple of weeks. A guy in Sacramento, play-by-play guy for the Sacramento Kings, he tweeted, "All lives matter." He wrote, "All lives matter, ... every single one." He was trying to be, empathetic and trying to show that he cared. He got fired for saying all lives matter. He got fired. And I couldn't believe it. I read up on it. Trust me, that's all he did. A couple of players didn't like him, and they said, good, we don't want him. But he literally typed in an attempt to appear like he cared about everybody. He wasn't being flippant. He got fired. And then the Drew Brees thing blew my mind too, because he did nothing. He said nothing wrong. All he did was say, I don't believe in kneeling for the anthem. I love the country, the flag, whatever. My grandfathers fought in the war. I went back and looked at everything he said. There was nothing that could be construed as offensive. But it was apparently he didn't show enough empathy for the kneelers, and they came after him. Man, they came after him hard. I think he's up to 27 apologies now. He just keeps apologizing. And this is Drew Brees. This is no small timer. This is one of the all-time greats his record was impeccable. He did a lot for charity, and they came hard after him. And he's going to be on his knees on opening day. You watch. He will take a knee.
Gerry, I just want to address the all lives matter thing and how it was explained to me, where in fact all lives do matter. You're absolutely right. And I don't agree that they should have fired that guy. Maybe they should have just said, hey, and given him a warning, because I've experienced that personally myself. And, an African-American friend of mine said, well, yeah, it's great that all lives do matter. But in this particular case, it just seems like Black lives don't matter as much as other lives. And with the examples that have been given out in the news. So when you say all lives matter, as some people may get angry and approach it the wrong way, like that guy getting fired. But, that community feels like, well, all lives should matter. But right now, it doesn't seem like they do.
I understand. And I've heard the explanation as well. And maybe someone, like you said, someone should have sat down and said, listen, his name was Grant Napier. Listen, Grant, we got to explain this to you, because he did it. Obviously, he did it innocently or naively.
Trying to be supportive.
He wasn't trying to be flippant. And I understand that bothers some people. Hell, and the punishment sure doesn't seem to fit the crime. At the Philadelphia Inquirer, an editor who won a Pulitzer, a guy had been there 20 years, very well respected, got fired for a headline that said buildings matter, because they were talking about historic buildings and monuments that were getting defaced. And the headline was buildings matter too. And I understand if you think that's inappropriate, but they freaking fired the guy.
Yeah,
and I'm going,
that's extreme.
What happened to warnings or explanations? Because hell, New York Times fired an editor for just running a column by Tom Cotton, who's a sitting U.S. senator and a war hero and a Harvard grad. He wrote a column about when to use federal forces against looters. They ran it. And there was such an uproar from the staff, they fired the editor. Which is
the whole listening thing needs to work on both sides of the fence, in my opinion. The whole thing is about listening. If you're listening to anybody's stance, and that's yours or yours, what's the firing for? Okay, sit down and say, hold on, maybe you don't understand what Black Lives Matters means in this case, and then have a conversation.
But nobody wants to understand. They want to be right.
Well, stop telling me to fucking listen if you're not going to fucking listen. That's the point I'm making. Like, remember the days when it wasn't a whole religious conversation or sexual conversation or government conversation? It was like, I don't care who you vote for or who you fuck. And if I don't agree with you all the time, that's okay. You're not going to agree with me all the time. Now it's like, well, if I don't agree with Gerry, I got to burn his fucking house down. Or if Gerry doesn't agree with Isaiah, he's got to fucking burn my house. Like, what the fuck? So we're not supposed to say anything? You want to talk about compartmentalization building up and hatred building up. If I can't tell Josh I'm upset with Josh about something and I hold that in, I'm going to be fucking, there's going to be shit on the backside. And that might be what we're seeing with a bunch of the riots. People are sick and fucking tired of not being heard. And now it's just chaos.
That was, that's something that would explain to me also that, and it doesn't justify any violence in any
at all,
way.
On either side, anywhere.
You can tell somebody something over and over and over again for decades. And if you feel like you're being ignored for a very long time, you get desperate. Now, I've never been in a situation like that. It's hard for me to speak on that.
Right.
But, I can understand the frustration. I don't agree with how it's handled by, hurting other people or setting something on fire. But I can understand a frustration there. And if you look at the history of why that organization was created, there's been a lot of examples, and going all the way back to slavery, so that you're saying something over and over again. You're asking for something over and over again. It's not happening. It's going to explode. I do it with my daughter all the time. I don't hurt her or set her on fire, but I end up yelling.
And that's a good thing. Let's get that on record.
Take out the trash for crying out loud. And so it happens with everybody. I'm not diminishing that cause at all, but I'm just saying that, people have to look at that and say, how do we avoid this? And that's, like you said, Isaiah, I think that's a great point. You got to listen. And
everybody does.
Listening. And like Josh says, they're just concerned about being right.
I think, I'm obviously not a liberal like you, Mike, but I think the last real liberal is Bill Maher. And I hate him some weeks and other weeks, but he never is against, free speech in any form. It's like you have to we all have to agree that we have the right to speak, and words aren't, violence. You should be able to speak your mind, honestly, without fear.
Cheers to that.
Without losing your job or losing your life. It's gotten to the point where
it's too much.
And you talk about your experience in college, and you see it over and over. These people getting in trouble. The professor, getting in trouble for just saying the wrong thing, and they start a petition, and they start an online, mob, and the guy's, next thing you know, he's out on his ass. It's almost an antiquated concept of we all have a right to speak our mind. Not so much these days.
No. Where are we in the sports world? Let's talk about sports. What professional sports team is going to come back first the right way, do you think, Gerry?
I only care about football and golf. That's all I care about.
So you've got your golf.
Well, I'm leaving this conversation then. Sorry. I have nothing.
Oh, what the fuck? Mike does this every show. He walks outside at some point.
He hates ball golf.
Yeah, he doesn't like ball golf. He's a disc golfer.
Yes.
Yeah, the fall is going to be great, though, because we'll have football, pro football, college football, and golf, put all the majors off. So the fall is going to be, the Masters, the U.S. Open, coming fast and furiously every week. So I'm looking forward to that. But to me, the big sports story is football will do it right. Football will be back in all its glory. Unfortunately, everyone will be kneeling, including the commissioner.
With fans
once they get
or
out
without
there,
fans?
Once we get to playing game, they'll have fans, but not full houses. My guess is they'll have like 1/3 full, maybe 20,000 people, and they'll pretend they're social distancing, but they won't. It'll just
you add 2 beers to social distancing, and that goes away quick.
Right. And then the big story is the death of baseball. In my opinion.
God.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
It feels so irrelevant right now. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot. I think they're going to come back, and people are going to just say, we were good. We don't need you. We're good. We got plenty of other things. We're busy watching, rioting and looting. We don't need you.
That breaks my heart because that's the one sport I really follow out of all the major sports. You know, I'm not like a fanatic, but I love baseball, and it's just I don't understand why they can't get it together. It just
money,
breaks my
greed,
heart.
the same problems we have with the other shit. It's greed.
I used to love baseball, but I don't anymore. It's just I don't know, lots of reasons. I don't like the Red Sox. I mean, the organization, the ownership, they don't care about the young generation. They don't care about making the game more appealing. There's been a million opportunities to shorten the games, tighten them up, speed them up, and they don't. They just play lip service and keep on saying, yeah, tradition. People, we're baseball. People, there's an arrogance to it. I enjoy this right now because they've been humbled, and they will continue to be humbled. When they come back, whatever it's going to be, 4th of July, I think they're in for I mean, the TV ratings are already down all across the board, especially in Boston. They're going to continue in free fall, and it's going to be. We're going to remember this year as the time, the day that people kind of lots of people lost interest in baseball, I think.
So they won't change baseball, but they keep trying to change hockey.
That's right. Hockey gets kicked around, man. They're like the Coast Guard of the sports.
Like, we're going to add a new line, and also this is now illegal, and you can't blink, and it's just stupid.
Just bring fighting back to hockey and get hockey on the ice first. That's all I want to see.
Fighting into baseball. We don't all need to jump off the bench.
Right. Hit me with a pitch, I go after you with a bat. I'd watch that. If you turn baseball into kind of a WWE thing, maybe that could save it. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know if it can be saved. It's just going to have to take its place as whatever, 3rd or 4th, and used to be, national pastime. Not so much anymore. Obviously, football is king, and college football is bigger than baseball too.
College football is great. I love college football.
And I think that's coming back on time. You know why?
Good.
It should. College, they should just let, college kids go to the college games. They're not really getting the virus. They're not really giving the virus. It's not a problem for 20-year-olds. It just isn't. If you keep all, elderly and obese and people, autoimmune deficient people away, you can do anything. If you quarantine the sick and let the healthy and the young go back to their lives, you can do almost anything.
But Gerry, don't you agree that, okay, so it's not a big problem for relatively healthy 20-year-olds, the majority of them who have much, they're in much better shape than all of us here, maybe except for Josh. But when they leave Beaver Stadium or whatever it is in Penn State, that place holds 500,000 people or whatever. When they leave there, they go out into the world. What if they do have something and then they see their grandparents or they see someone who's got an immune deficiency or something?
Well, that's my point. They shouldn't see their grandparents. They shouldn't have never, in my opinion, they should have never shut the colleges down. They should have left them on campus and said, you can't go home. The problem is when they sent them all home at first, and they went and saw their grandparents or, their old neighbors, but now we know enough. Now we quarantine the sick or the vulnerable. It's unfortunate because, grandparents can't see their grandkids, but that's how you stay alive. That's how you stay alive. The kids should have stayed in school. The grandparents should have stayed home or in nursing homes, and don't put them at risk. It wasn't that complicated. I don't know why we, make it. I mean, still to this day, saying that kids shouldn't be, up playing with other kids is crazy.
Well, I think that has to do with the fact that in the beginning anyway, that nobody knew anything about this virus. Even the doctors and the scientists, it was something that was so brand new and it was mutating, and now we know, which is a good thing. In the beginning, they didn't know. And I think that's why they did that stuff. They took those precautions, they closed things down.
That beginning was also 15 weeks ago. So at this point, I would have to lean a little bit with what Gerry's saying. We've learned enough that we can, if we just all act like grown-ass adults and be less gross, right? I mean, I get strep throat and bronchitis every year.
That's never going to happen, Isaiah. You know that. Nobody's going to act like grown-ass adults.
No, seriously, though. Be less gross. And look, when you go out, Gerry, you think about yourself, your wife, your family. You're cognizant of the people around you, right? And that's how you've always lived your life. So that's how you're going to live your life, moving forward, right? If everyone does that.
That's why I don't think the second wave of the spike will be as big a deal, because everyone knows certain things. We know all about, masks and, social distancing and washing your hands and not going to see, grandma at the nursing home. You just,
Right.
They know we will behave differently next time there is a spike. But I mean, at some point, you got to let kids go back to school or go back to daycare. You just have to. It's just doing more harm than good to them.
Oh, that's Josh's cat,
sorry.
by the way.
And that's
I live in a
that's
There's just too many animals.
Josh lives in a menagerie. He is surrounded by animals. He's almost like Dr. Doolittle or
This whole
Noah.
time I'm just batting cats and dogs away, and all right.
Oh, Gerry, give a plug to your talk about the podcast you've been doing since you left EEI. Give it a plug. Talk it
Yes,
up.
my podcast is called the Gerry Callahan Podcast. Very creative name. We do it every day. Every day it's up about 10 a.m. We do it, 7:30 to 9:30 or so. In the morning, I got a rotating cast of co-hosts, Turtle Boy and Alex Reamer, who everybody hates, but I like him. He's my token crazy liberal. He's representing. He's got the voice of Antifa every time he's on, and we have some good friends. And we started off doing lots of sports, but there's no sports, so we mostly do pandemic talk, and now we're doing rioting and looting talk, and there's and a lot of cancel culture every day. I'm telling you, every day I got a list here from the weekend of people who are like David Andelman, who now Howard Stern is the big one, but who have been either canceled or they're threatening to go after.
Harry Potter got canceled.
Who did?
What?
Harry Potter, or the for Harry Potter.
And when her story is interesting because she's a billionaire, and she, unlike the lowly whatever anchor on TV or ESPN or something, she's a billionaire, so she can say whatever she wants, and she does. J.K. Rowling's, who's a liberal, but she's a liberal, but does not really believe in completely surrendering to the transgender forces that want we all know the issues that whatever the track runners who do it, or she does not side with the mob on that. And the stars of the movies, like the Harry Potter guy, came out and attacked her, but she doesn't care. She's got billions, but
she was also being supportive to the trans community. She was just
is in a way, she is in a way, but she just says, men can't menstruate. No matter, that's literally what she said, and that triggered them. They all came after her, and I think they, were threatening to boycott, whatever. She doesn't care. She's beyond.
She already has your money.
She's like Elon Musk. There's a few people that have so much money that they're beyond attack, so they're not going to worry.
Money seems to be money is the root of all evil.
Again.
Yes, no, the money's the root of free thinking. In this case, you get to speak your mind. If J.K. Rowling were just starting out, or if she were, had a book out and was hoping it would sell, she would never say these things because she would not want to offend the mob, and they, they wouldn't come after her.
You can't say shit these days. You really just can't say shit. If you do, like you said, triggered is a great word, and it blows my mind that now again they're going after Howard Stern. Like, are you fucking kidding? He's been doing that.
You don't say anything, or they'll just take what you say and twist it to make it look a certain way. Like, Gerry, I wanted to ask you about the I know it's been a while, but the Aaron Hernandez documentary. I feel like in the documentary they made it seem like when you guys were talking about Aaron Hernandez that you outed him, and then that's the reason that he killed himself. Like, it was a weird.
Which is fine. I if that's the case, I'm fine with it. A judge actually said in court that we were the reason he was getting harassed in prison because we outed, that we mentioned, we didn't do it. Michelle McPhee, the author, came on and she said she was the first one to say he's gay. And then later on, a judge said he was being harassed because a radio show outed him. And I said, I don't care. The guy's a murderer. I don't care. You think we were supposed to protect him? And we joked and said we killed Aaron Hernandez, and because he was being harassed in jail and he ended up killing himself. But who cares? Does it bother you that a murderer, a serial killer was outed?
Yeah, and do you think that you? I don't think that you did out him though, because didn't he have a boyfriend in prison, and wouldn't he be harassed because he's a celebrity?
I think it upset his wife or his ex-wife, whatever she was, his fiance.
Right.
No, she wasn't happy, but I mean, I don't care. He has no rights. He's a murderer.
Yeah.
He murdered us. I mean, he's the lowest form of life. The guy was killing his wife's sister's boyfriend, a good friend of his. He shot him because the guy said something that he didn't like. He killed a couple guys who allegedly spilled a drink on him in Boston. I mean, the guy was scum. He was evil. Who cares if his feelings are hurt? But yes,
people have too much time on their fucking hands.
That was our mistake for doing that documentary. We didn't know it at the time. It was produced by Aaron Hernandez's lawyer. They came
was it
in,
really?
They were working with the Oxygen Network, with Oprah's network, and they were very professional.
Wow.
And we did
Jose Baez.
Him. We didn't know at the time that he was the friggin' producer, but we were fooled, and it's our fault. We were stupid.
Jesus Christ. Well, listen, Gerry, thanks for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate this.
Thanks, Gerry.
Sure thing, guys. Good to see you, Shu. See you guys.
Yeah. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for coming on.
See you,
Gerry
Moscow.
Callahan. Good to see you, buddy. We lost Mike there for a hot second.
I don't even know.
I think we're losing him again.
On with you guys. Zoom is fucking up on me so hard, and I hate it so much, Gerry. I'm sorry.
Punch your phone.
Sorry,
punch your phone.
Why?
Just punch your phone. Josh and I will thank the sponsors. Punch it.
Am I back? Am
Yes!
I back?
Yes, you are.
I fucking hate Zoom. I hate Zoom so much. Isaiah, if Zoom calls and said, we'd like to offer you $1 million sponsorship package, I want you to say, stick your thumb in your ass and go throw yourself off a roof because your product fucking sucks. Okay. Don't tell me it's my friggin', are you near, should you move your router? It's right here. It's right in front of the fucking computer. Right here. Look, there it is. It's right here. It's touching it. It's touching. I'm touching my fucking computer and it's still fucking up. Did that come out or did I freeze up again?
No, that was great.
Remember
was it great?
Losing
Good.
their mind at home? People snapping.
What else could I do? What else could I do? We got to do this. Can we get together next time?
Yes.
I mean, I go to the Condon Brothers house. I mean, we're 6 feet apart, but you know, at least we're together. We can see each other, and I'm not going like Luke Condon says. I sound like Sloth from the Goonies when the Zoom thing happens. Like, I love you, chunk. You know, it's like, hey, fucking Zoom. I hate it so much.
Your schedules. I'm waiting on you. I got nothing. I'll go anywhere.
All right. Well, next time we do something, I say we meet at Josh's house. He's right in the middle, Isaiah.
Right.
Would that be fair? Do you have time for that? Because I know you're a busy man.
I am, but I'll go wherever. If you want to come to your house, because you got more fucking room there.
Don't talk over.
Get a fucking job.
Don't talk over him.
I'll talk over him.
Get a fucking job. Go fucking watch.
The only way to get a word in.
Well, listen.
Jesus Christ.
Mute your microphone. It's better. No. Whatever. We'll come back out to your house too. It's easy. It doesn't matter. If you have more room out there.
I'm so sick of Zoom.
Let's do it then.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we want guests. Are they going to come to your house? Are they going to? That all becomes.
Corinne's coming over at some point.
Oh God.
This week.
I'll bring the vodka.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's my Worcester girl right there.
There you go. Mike sounds like a sloth again.
When are we podcasting with Corinne? She wants to know. And I'm doing her podcast next.
Oh, wow. I don't think you can, Josh, because Gerry Callahan's on Corinne's podcast right now. So you got to wait like 45 minutes.
I got to stop letting Isaiah's schedule these.
Hey, he came on, didn't he? Go fuck yourself.
He did.
Wolfpack Coffee, amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Find them on social media. Wolfpack Coffee USA. Our good friend Matt is running it, a veteran. We all drink it. Our good friend Nicole over at Invoke Media Group did our website, breakingtheicepodcast.com. That's where all the episodes are, all the sponsors. Mike's been doing some great blogs. Josh is going to start blogging.
It looks more professional than we are.
Absolutely.
We had nothing to do with that site. That is all Invoke Media. So if you need websites or social media or digital marketing, Invoke Media. I got to call Boston Exterior Remodeling because I may need them seriously for a project, but like I want to do windows. And if they do windows, which they do, outdoor shit, call them. They're awesome.
Is that all our sponsors?
Plus.
Oh, Jesus
yes, Garage
Christ.
Doors Plus. Speaking of getting projects done, you got a garage that's been looking like crap for the past 10 years, or you have a garage like mine that squirrels have made a brothel.
You got to fix that thing. That thing's fucked
I know,
up.
man. You call Chris over there, Garage Doors Plus. You follow them on Instagram. You can see his work. Same with Boston Exterior Remodeling. And they do amazing work. They can make anything look beautiful except for my face. So I suggest you call Chris over there, and he'll help you out with your garage.
Is what their
It is. It is home improvement porn. That's how old you can tell. You can tell we're getting older when it's like, well, those are nice windows.
You've got a wonderful garage door.
Really? That's a linoleum. So
we'll work on
siding. Really goes with the other color siding.
We'll work on the next. I don't know if the next podcast will be in person, but we got to be in person and figure out how. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
Because this social distancing is all well and good, but it's driving us fucking crazy.
So let's do it in person. We'll schedule it. And are you guys free at all this? What day is it?
It's Monday.
Monday.
Hold on. What month is it?
I didn't know if it was
a legit question.
Or the beginning of the week.
I'm not laughing at you, Josh. That's just a legit question. What day
is it?
Every day feels like a Sunday afternoon.
Right, exactly. Oh, look, did you guys plug social media? Because I can't tell with Zoom anymore if you guys were actually.
No.
All right, so you can find Breaking the Ice Podcast not only at breakingtheicepodcast.com, but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Are we on like Tumblr or anything else like that? I don't know.
We're on MySpace.
And, Tom loves the Breaking the Ice podcast.
And add us on AOL Instant Messenger.
Right. Wow. We have a live chat room going where it's just a bunch of pedophiles. So check us out on the AOL chat room. Check us out on social media, and also check out the other podcasts I'm involved with. Long May You Young. If you're a Neil Young fan, it's just 3 Neil Young fans just getting overly excited about Neil Young's albums. We're tackling all 65 of them. Actually, it's going to be 66 in a couple of weeks. He's got a new one coming out. So
he just never says no to a record, huh?
That he just records whenever the hell he wants, and that's why we love Uncle Neil.
It's like Nick Cage movies.
You're doing one with Corinne. You plug the Millennial Minute you're doing with Corinne is awesome, Josh. Talk about that.
Oh yeah, actually, it's I'm doing the Cut to Corinne podcast with her. Cut to Corinne. Yeah, it's Cut to Corinne.
Sweet.
She has 2 episodes out, and I'm going to be doing the 3rd episode with her as soon as we get off this.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Cut to Corinne.
Wait, are you doing it at the same time that we're doing this?
Yes, and Gerry Callahan's going to be on it, and then.
What about Howard Stern? If they're going to take down Howard Stern, let's get him before he burns out. Come on, Howard. Howard Stern and Bill Maher, we'll get them all on the show.
Yeah, that should be easy. I'm going to write Howard a letter, and
put a stamp on it and walk it to the post office.
I'm going to walk to the post office. Yep, it's going to be awesome.
Just give him the hotline number, and we'll wait.
My God. All right, boys.
All right, you guys. Thanks for listening, everybody. I can't find my cock.